Good morning, everyone. I actually waited for a long time for everybody to join, but still there are very few students who have joined. Anyways, um, today we are going to do the topic of migration in the from the first unit. Okay, and migration basically means moving from one place to another. You must have seen migratory birds when they move from Siberia, and they every year they come to the lakes of Rajasthan and even Shivri lakes, है right? So what is basically migration? Migration occurs when a large group move from one place to another. Maybe it is for the animals or it is for the human beings. Okay, they move to another country, they move to another continent or the adjacent, neighboring states or neighboring countries. So these individuals, they want to settle in a new place permanently or for a long period of time because the things were not okay where they were living. Okay, they are living because of certain reasons, right? Migration is also when the villagers, the rural people, they leave and they migrate to cities. Then it is for the better opportunities in the sense employment, okay, education, health, and other reasons. Okay, now when we talk about migration, there are various causes. So let's go to the first topic of this migration, and that topic is causes. And what are the causes of migration? Right now, the first point here is a natural reason. Natural reason means, okay, first is types of migration. So before that, I will take up the topic of types, which is internal migration. Okay, type internal means moving to a new home within your state. If you want to consider it as a migration, maybe you are living in a Nasik area, you are moving into Mumbai region. Okay, likewise. And this is called internal. Or maybe you are living in Bengal, West Bengal, and you are moving towards Gujarat. So that is called internal migration. Means within your region, whichever you consider it as. For example, or within a continent, it is also called internal. Maybe you are moving from India to Bhutan, India to Sri Lanka, India to Bangladesh. So for within continent, that is called internal migration. Okay. Now, what is an external migration? Basically, moving to a new place in a different state. For example, now you can, as I took the example from West Bengal to Gujarat, so if it was to be considered within the country, then it was internal migration. But if you consider like from one state to another, then it becomes a external migration. Similarly, if you consider from one country to another country within the continent, then it can also be internal migration if you are considering it as if you are keeping it in the category of continent migration. Okay, like from one country people move to another country. For example, Rohingya Muslims, they have got migrated from Burma and they have entered Bangladesh and India. So that is, if you have to consider it from the point of view of continent, then it is internal. But if you have to consider it like from one country to another, then it becomes an external migration, right? Now we also have another type of migration, which is called emigration and then immigration. There is very small difference. For example, if I make this, one second, let me take my pen. Okay, now I have not written immigration here, I think by mistake. Now, what is the difference between emigration and immigration? For example, this is your country. I'm just saying this is your country. Okay. Now, when you leave this country, that is called emigration. Means leaving a country is called emigration. Now, this is another country where you are going to. You are moving into this country. Moving into this country. So then this is called immigration. Okay. For the people over here, you are coming from outside, so they will have an immigration department because you are entering here. When you are leaving your country, you will be going to immigration department for clearance with your passport and all, because you are leaving that country. All right. So this is the difference between emigration and immigration. Now, what is return migration? Means when people, they leave one place, but after certain time they come back to their original country. That is called return migration. You must have seen, here I'll write, for example, Jews, they left their country around 2000 years back because there were a lot of prosecution, there were a lot of harassment that was happening in the area of, for example, let me make this little bit of map so that you understand. Okay, this is Saudi Arabia, and this is the place where Jewish people used to live. Now it is a very small country called Israel, which is called their homeland. Okay, now 2000 years back, they have to leave their country because of certain reasons, certain prosecutions, certain harassments. Now they left that place and came and settled in Mumbai, Gujarat and Kerala, Karnataka. Now, because things have got better now, okay, so now I have seen this trend. Because why I'm telling you all these things? Because I have taught in a Jewish academy. I've taught in a school which is IB board, IGCSE board, and that is called Jewish Academy. Now, because I saw people, most of the people, they are trying to get back to their original country after 2000 years. That means so many generations they have lived in India. Not only in India, some of them came towards here, but some of them moved towards Russia at that time. Some of them moved towards Europe. So Jews are scattered all over the world. Now when they come back, that is called return immigration, return migration. Now next point is seasonal migration. Like for example, when the season in your country, your place is not conducive for your stay, so what do? You move to another place. For example, within the country, when Britishers used to rule India, so during summer they used to make Shimla as their capital. Their headquarter used to move from Delhi to, or from Kolkata or Delhi to Shimla. And then when the season was right, for example winter, so they used to move back from Shimla to other place. So seasonal, this is called seasonal migration, and this happens mostly in case of birds, flamingos and Siberian cranes. They all move from Siberia because the winters become very, very cold in that place. So they move towards India. So during when India is having winter, so at least they have to bear the same type of temperature, because in summer Siberia is as cold as India in winter. So they move from extreme colds to a place where it is cold now, but they can bear the temperature because they are used to that temperature. Instead of getting into minus degrees, they move here. So this is called seasonal migration. Okay, now moving ahead to let's go to the next slide. What are the different causes? Causes could be, you know, because maybe there are less opportunities available. Maybe there are people want to have explore new areas. That is also one possibility. Sometimes it could be political, sometimes it could be social, sometimes it is because of religious persecution, and sometimes people want to leave their home because of droughts, because of floods, or because of poor economic conditions of their place, or weather patterns, as I told you, drought, or sometimes it becomes very cold. So these are all causes of migration. So I have listed them one by one. One comes in the natural reason. Natural reason category has change in the weather patterns, okay, such as droughts, such as floods, okay. Sometimes droughts, they affect the crop, so that one reason can make another reason for them to migrate. Drought is there, so they have, because the crops have for one season they saw the drought, but for the next season again, and it is happening consequently each and every year. So this becomes a pattern, and then they know that this place is not good for their livelihood, because of continuous drought pattern. They won't be able to grow the crops, they won't be able to sustain themselves, so they have to migrate from that place. Now farmers often lose their source of income when the crops are flooded, there is a drought. So when the amount of food in that area, because of drought or because of flood, it becomes less or scarce, there is no other alternative left. There is no other alternative left, because what will they do if they won't be able to grow the crop? How will they feed their families? How will they sell their goods and earn money so that they can live? So these are called natural reason, and this has happened many a times in the history, okay, that people move from one place to another because of the natural reason. Actually, if you have to go back in the history, earlier when we know about the prehistoric man used to migrate because of the natural reason, because he had no religion, okay, and he was not in search of employment in some other country. They used to explore the area, they used to really use everything from that area. When they used to feel that now this area is not able to give them back, there are not much the soil has lost its fertility, the trees now when they have totally they've totally used up those resources, so then you used to move to another areas, right? Now next is political reason. Political reason means there are certain reasons where there are certain conditions, certain times when politically people feel unsafe, okay. Some political decisions that are taken by the political leaders, they are not conducive for certain sect of people, certain communities. So what they feel, they leave that area. Or sometime the political leader get into wars, but people who are not interested in war and don't want their nearer and dear one to get affected, so they leave that area. All right. Now especially during civil wars, harm, most of the time what happens, people fight, but the price is given by the common people, their farms, their businesses, they all get destroyed because of war, because of dropping of bombs. For example, now you must have seen in Syria and other places where there is a constant dropping of missiles and bombs. The people, they are losing their business, they are losing their agriculture, they are losing their not only business and agriculture, they are losing sometimes their people also. So what they will do, they will have to leave that area, leave that place, because this is now a war zone. They cannot live without fear in that area. Okay, so you must have seen in Iraq also, Jordan, Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, all of these places, most of the people, they are leaving and going either towards Africa or towards the towards the Western Europe. So they increase the population of a refugee population in that area. Okay, they take shelter there. Now, third reason is causes of migration में. Third reason is family reason. It is neither political nor natural. You want to improve your condition of your family. Now, large group of people, often they move to other countries or cities so that they can provide for their families, because when they are not able to find their jobs here, they are not able to get enough opportunity where they are living. So the best option is one or two people, they leave that place and go to another country where they get job, better salaries, and they can provide for their families who are living in their homeland. Okay, sometimes one member leave, sometimes one or more people, they leave from the family. Okay, they emigrate to another country to support, to give them money support. Okay, they may they live there permanently or for a short time. They may come back also, but then that is also a migration, right? Now, that people from India, they most of the time they go to US, they go to Dubai, they go to other places like Australia. So either it is a permanent migration or it could be a temporary one. Temporary one, that is, they get contract for 1 or 2 years, they live there, get salary, come back and again find job, again go back. So that is temporary. But if they go to a country, they live there permanently for 10-15 years and then they apply for the citizenship over there, then it is a permanent migration. Okay, got it? Now, what is external reason for migration? That because certain, for example, if you feel that certain country, certain state or some place is offering you a better economic opportunity than your home countries. Like for example, nowadays there is a trend of like people want to go to Canada because Canada has recently opened the door. Earlier also it were open. Now they have made it even more easier for people to immigrate into their country. Why? Because Canada. I'm so sorry. If I have said China, it is Canada. Canada, because there's very less population. Because of the climatic condition, because of certain reason, their population is not growing as per the rate it is required for a country to have. So if they don't invite people from all over the world to become and settle in their country, to become a citizen over there, what will happen? Slowly and slowly the population will reduce and the country will become inhabited by less people, and its economy will also go down, right? So this is the reason they have started inviting, and people, youngster, and most of the people in my family, also so many people recently from the past 2 or 3 years, I've seen a major shift. Youngster, they want to go there and settle there because at least from India they are providing you better opportunities as compared to the salary packages and standard of living, right? Only thing is that the temperature, but then temperature is okay because they have their central heating system all over the place. They have got everything, like if you go outside, then the temperature may go to minus 22 degree also. But then if you are inside the working space, you are in your car, you are in your homes, they have got a perfect heating system, so that we don't have to worry. These things can be taken care, but because now you are moving for better opportunities, you will not be considering weather here. Weather would have been a problem if this was 100 years or 200 years back, when there were not much technology to cater to the low temperatures. Okay, so these are called external factors, where people, when they make their own decisions to move from one place to another. Okay, now, do you know about what is California gold rush? Actually, during 1850s, 18th century, 19th century, people from Asian countries like China, they moved towards California in large number. So that was called the period of California gold rush. Okay, maybe this name was given because Chinese people, they have a golden color, means they have got yellowish color, they are pale, and whereas the American and European people, they are pinkish. So this name was given California gold rush. Okay, anyways, we'll talk about now impacts of migration. Here we will talk about many points, like once people migrate from one country to another, what are the things that they have to face. Excuse me, I'll just have a sip of water. Now, impacts, one major impact is the racism that happens. See, as I said just now, California gold rush. So people from China move towards America. So when a lot of people they come, the native people over there feel threatened also. For example, people from African countries also, they move to US in search of opportunities, in search of better exposure. But what happens? Native people start feeling insecure that their jobs will be lost. These people have come now, they will work for less money, and they are spoiling their pay packages. So they start with this funda. They're black, they're gold, they're this, they're that, they're Indian. So all these things, they start only from the fear of from the fear of losing their job. Or maybe even if they don't have fear, they have a different way of looking at those people, because they don't belong to their race. So there is a hatred, a kind of hatred, okay, towards them. So this is called racism, which is like for the outsiders. Okay, now next point is isolation. Now people who leave their country and settle into a foreign country, they face a problem of isolation, and they feel alienated in a new country. Just imagine if you also have to go to a country like Canada or any other country, Australia or UK, for some time, till you make your friends, till you have your social circle over there. You feel alienated because you have come into a land where you know nobody, very few acquaintances, or sometimes even zero. So you have to really you sometimes get into anxiety. Sometimes people, when they leave, they get into depression also. But this can be cured. How? You go and join their social circles. There are certain clubs which you join, and there are communities they have made specially for these type of things. Because when you have joined, you have just entered a new country. Earlier people must have also felt who moved earlier to their country. So in a way, they have made communities wherein people who are new, they can come and make have some social get together. So these are problem, but there are solutions also. Okay, now what is another impact? Third is torture meted out on migrant population. For example, you must have seen in the recent past, around 4 or 5 years back, Australians were attacking Indians, and there had not been one or two cases, there had been couple of cases that because they were getting insecure basically, so they used to attack. And not only that, sometimes when people they move and when they for example, Indians, when they move to Australia, slowly and slowly, Indian population became strong in Australia, and they started doing their started having their way of life, which Australian did not like, and they wanted them to behave. So that is also one of the reasons that they take law in their hand and they start torturing the migrant population. Okay, now in and this happens only because of some hostile feelings towards the migrant population. Why these hostile feelings? They come up either due to insecurities, or either due to their increasing status, or their increasing population, or okay, could be anything. There are multiple reasons for that. So what next? Impact of migration is a social problem. Why? Because migration of people in large number to a particular area or a region, it results in congestion there. Okay, there is an overcrowding in that place, and especially if some area is inhabited by the migrant population from one country, then they become a nuisance over there, because they think now they are powerful, and then they start having their own way of living. So this becomes a social problem. And sometimes when there is an unemployment, and sometimes there are some antisocial elements that that may take over. For example, drugs, alcohol, then arms. Sometimes some of them, they are provided with arms, and then they start shooting people. Then the crime increases in this area. So when the crime increases, it becomes a social problem. Next is adjustment problem. Definitely, when you are moving to another country, both of the sides, they have to adjust. People who are accepting you as migrant, that country, and also you have to adjust, right? Many a times the immigrant find it difficult to adjust to the changes in the climate, in the customs, in the culture, and sometimes food, because food is also one thing. For example, if you have to move to Singapore or Japan, for those people who are vegetarian, it becomes very difficult, because you will not find vegetarian food at all, or very less, or if it is there, it is in very, very few restaurants or very few places. So that also becomes your problem, because you are a vegetarian, and when you move to such countries, you have to really look and hunt for places where you can dine comfortably. Even if there are vegetarian restaurants, they serve non-veg food also, and then the ambience and the aroma of that non-veg food, sometimes vegetarian food, people are not able to bear that. So these are all adjustment problems that you may have to bear. Okay, now next is the instability. Many a times the migrant population faces problem of instability. That means whatever profession they are doing, they are not stable there in the new country. They feel that they will be kicked out from there. They are considered as casual laborers, not as a permanent employees. Okay, and they can be removed from the job anytime. So this is called instability. They have a fear of this. Okay, and then impact is the brain drain. As I have used this term earlier also, the best of the brain from your country, they move to a place where they are paid better and they want to give their services there rather than your own country. So your country becomes is drained out of those brainy people. So this is called brain drain. Okay, now it's the mass emigration of those people like technically skilled, for example doctors, engineers, and IT professionals who are very good brainy people who, if they live in their own country, they can do wonders and they can do lots for the upliftment of their country. But because they want to have better, they think in a short term, they think of only of their family, they think of themselves, so they move to another country for better pay packages because their country is not able to give them that much money. So this is one of the reasons. The knowledge, the experience, and the skill of these migrant contribute to the economy of those country, not their own. Okay, now next point is positive impact on foreign exchange reserves. So what happens basically when the migrant population sends money to their families who are living in their countries, there is an improvement in the foreign exchange in that country. For example, if one of your person, for example your father or your brother, goes to another country and then he sends money to you where you are living in India. Okay, so what is he doing? What is he doing? He's basically increasing the foreign exchange reserves of our country. Only if he sends money. Otherwise, if he is not sending money, then it is not there. Okay. Next point is related to this only, because when they are sending money, the standard of living improves for all the people who are living in here in India. The standard of living of the families in home country increases. Why? Because there is a flow of foreign money coming from your brother or your father who is working abroad. Okay, now this leads to increasing demands for lifestyle products, luxury goods and items. Okay, so you must have seen this thing, like for example, if somebody is living in Dubai, one of your family members, so they get those good products from there. Definitely when they get good quality products and they bring money, the standard of living definitely improves. Okay,